ConnecTra creates opportunities for people living with disabilities by providing information, resources, and programming geared towards greater inclusion and quality of life. Check out some of the programs we offer through our online learning platform, ConnecTogether, including our Service Mondays, where we highlight a local organization or initiative. Wednesday Chair Yoga with Bobbie Seale-Cobiskey. Thursday Adapted Fitness with Megan Williamson. Friday Rotating Dance Classes hosted by Janice Lawrence and Joanne Cuff. And other initiatives, including presentations by the Disabled Independent Gardeners Association's Growable program and our Perspective series.
Our next Accessible Community Forum is on accessible education. Be part of the conversation on November 18th from 1 to 3 p.m. as we discuss the current accessible education climate in BC. Register today at accessibleeducationacf.eventbrite.ca.
Check out our updated programs calendar on our website, connectra.org, or find us on Facebook at ConnecTra Society.
Okay. First, I would like to say sorry to everybody about what happened last time, but not in anybody's control. But hopefully, like, we changed the account, so we won't have any problem now.
Thank you, Kausar, my amazing tech host. Without Kausar, this class wouldn't be possible. He's been my guy behind the scenes mostly, making sure that the class is available online. So a big thank you to Kausar, also to ConnecTra and the Disability Foundation for providing this opportunity for us to practice what I refer to as India's gift to the West, this amazing practice of adaptive yoga. And so welcome. Thank you for joining me. And so, as always, an invitation to begin the yoga practice by finding a comfortable sitting place. It is challenging for our nervous system to calm down if we're uncomfortable in our bodies. And then when you're ready, an invitation to take your hands to your heart center. Might be palms open, maybe palms together. If this placement of your hands makes you lose your balance, choose another placement for your hands. We never forfeit balance to come into a pose or movement. And then as ready, lift your heart to your hands, bow your head to your heart. And an invitation to take a moment to allow yourself to consciously enter into the present. And setting aside whatever concerns, worries you may have had before the yoga practice for the duration, knowing that you can come back to that after class. And then when you're ready, relax your arms by your side, wherever feels most comfortable for you, and then shake your hands. And so I'm going to reach my hands up a little higher to make sure everybody who's viewing, participating in the class can see my hands. However, that said, if your hands are cold or you know you have a condition that reaching up a little higher is contraindicated. So for example, maybe a heart condition. And so trusting that you know who you are, your arms are going to be kept lower so that the energy, the warmth can move into your hands. And so reaching up a little higher if you'd like, we could maybe imagine that we're waving to our ancestors. And so past, present, and future. And then coming forward a little, waving to our ancestors. And so reaching up one more time And so I never tire of sharing a story about the woman I had in my class for a few years that lived to be well over 100. We were doing this practice one morning, and she said, I feel like my ancestors are waving back. And so just like you're shaking water off your hands, let your arms slow down by yourself. Rest your arms by your side or wherever feels most comfortable for you. And take a moment to allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. Your natural rhythm. So maybe observing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And then when you're ready, an invitation to bring your hands together. And so there is research now that shows that our hands are connected not only to our heart, but to our mind as well. So I'd like to invite you to rub your hands together. So warm up your hands if they're cold, energize your hands. And then taking your hands apart just a little. So maybe noticing a little warmth or heat between your hands. Exploring if you'd like, bring your hands a little further apart. And then closer together. Then let's rub our hands together again. And so this time, as you're rubbing your hands together, I'd like to invite you to notice where in your body you are holding stress or tension, and see if you can bring some of the loving energy from your hands or your hand to that area. So open to receive. So I'd like to think of this practice as self-nurturing, even a deeper practice in self-care. And then rub your hands together again. This time, think of a new place. And then take your hands there. And then when you're ready, invitation to repose. So I'd like to invite you to soften your gaze. So maybe your gaze moves downward 3 or 4 feet in front of you on the floor. I'm just going to cover my Buddha belly. I just came in from outdoors. And so soften your gaze. Ground down through your sits bones. So sits bones, those bony protrusions in each butt cheek. Okay. So ground down through your sits bones. Allow your Buddha belly to soften. Lengthen up through your spine. Roll your shoulders back and down. Just a few times. Relax your arms by your side or wherever feels most comfortable for you. Lift up through the crown of your head. You might imagine a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you up to the sky. Our chin is level with the floor, tucked in slightly. Allow your facial muscles to soften and release. Our attention moves inward. So if you'd like to add a gentle swaying movement to your practice, so move in a way that if I was able to see you or I'd look at you, that you're moving so gently, I might not even notice that you're moving. So belly is soft. And now without changing anything, invitation to bring a gentle awareness to your breath. And so maybe noticing that as we inhale, things expand. On exhale, things contract. Placing your hands in a triangle around your Buddha or your navel center, if you'd like, around your belly button. So as we inhale, belly moves out. On exhale, our belly moves in. And if you'd like, and it's available to you, keeping one hand on your Buddha belly, take your other hand to your heart center. And then maybe noticing the pattern of movement of your breath between your upper torso and your belly. And then see if you can begin to extend your breath. So when we extend our breath, it engages the relaxation response, allowing us to let go of holding, stress, and tension. At any point, if you notice your mind gets distracted and wants to wander off, know that that's okay. That's the nature of our mind. Simply bring your awareness back to your breath. Our old friend, our breath. And lastly, see if you can add a quality of softness to your breath. So you might imagine that you just tasted something delicious. Or if you have a fur baby, fur kid, you might imagine that you're petting your fur kid. And then see if you can bring that same softness to areas of your body that you feel are tight or knotted. So our breath is long and smooth and soft as we breathe in and as we breathe out. And just for a few more breaths, or as long as feels comfortable, an invitation to keep this simple yogic breathing technique flowing. If it's challenging to focus on the breath, an invitation, if you'd like, to explore bringing a gentle awareness to the sounds around you. So I can hear the sound of Evie, my bunny rabbit, chewing on his Timothy hay. So you may well see him during the practice. He's kind of an indoor free-range bunny. I can hear the more subtle sound of my breathing. The little creaks in the old cabin, Pannable cabin that I live in, my husband and I. Rabbit. And maybe noticing the gentle tone of my voice. And in a loving way, bring your awareness back to your breath. To our old friend, our breath. And so I'm just going to attend to my bunny. He's being Bunny the Ripper right now with some newspaper, so I'll be back. And so I'm just going to put myself on mute for a moment. I can find the mute button. I don't know if it's necessary to do that, but we'll see what happens here. I'm just going to give him a hay cake. And so when you're ready, allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. So your natural rhythm, maybe observing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And then when you're ready, drop your chin towards your chest, and then gradually blink your eyes open. So I like to think of us as waking up, not falling asleep. And so if you happen to fall asleep in your yoga practice, it is not rocket science. It means that you are tired. And so don't take my word for it. Investigate, notice how you feel. And so that's part of our practice is folks who do yoga. And so when you're ready, let's repose. So I'd like to invite you now to find a place, if possible, where you are supporting your own spine. So come away from the back of the chair enough so that you feel you're sitting forward on your sits bones. So I understand that some of you have amazing chairs. So some of you are wheelchair users, the chairs are set up just for you. And so in a way that's supportive. So that's wonderful. Alternatively, if there's space between you and the back of the chair and you'd like support, one of the things that we can do that can feel amazing, and I learned this from a physiotherapist who also taught yoga, adaptive yoga. And so simply, it's an old yoga mat, lots of uses for it. You can place it along your spine at the back of the chair. And so if you're female, if you want to explore maybe placing it just below your rib cage rather than all the way down. And if you're male, tuck it all the way down to the seat. And so my thinking with that is that men and women, our bodies are created different. And so it has to do with the placement of our organs. And so you might explore female just below your rib cage, alternatively male, tuck it right down. And just notice how that feels, right? If it works for you, great. If not, that's okay too. And lastly, I'd like to suggest a blanket handy as, if it's not painful to put weight on your lap. You might really enjoy having a little bit of weight on your thighs. That can encourage a grounding sensation. Of course, that doesn't work for everyone. Or it could be under your feet for warmth, or at the end of the class for warmth. We come into our final relaxation. So moving on, repose. So make sure your feet are placed evenly on the floor or on your footrest. Our sits bones are sharp on the chair. Spine is long, shoulders back and down. Lift up through the crown of your head. Imagine that golden thread, if you like, pulling you up to the sky. Our chin is tucked in slightly, level with the earth. If it works for you, you can place 2 fingers or 1 finger on your chin. Imagine a rabbit. So this would be seated, one variation of a seated mountain pose. And release. And shake out again if you want. So a little more vigorous this time. Get a little bum dance in there. Woohoo, it's yoga time. So I like to think of this as, I like to invite you to think of this time as your gift to you. And so yoga, a gift that keeps on giving. And so ground to your feet, center and ground through the soles of your feet. We want to keep our connection with Mother Earth. We tend to start losing that. Root down through your sits bones. Maybe notice where your bum and your thighs are in contact with your seat. Spine is long, shoulders back and down. Lift up through the crown of your head. And from here, we'll come into a practice to relieve the tension in our face and our neck. And so let's begin with bringing our chin gently towards our chest. And then moving your head gently up and down. So as you move your head up, maybe your eyes meet where the ceiling meets the wall. And so as a modification or an alternative, along with the gentle movements, if it feels better for you, to have your hands in the back of your skull, your head, and guiding the movement. That might work well for you. And so today I'm going to keep my hands resting on my lap. And then as ready, bring your head back to neutral. And then bring your ear, drop your ear towards your shoulder. And then moving from side to side, shoulder to shoulder. So the moment we begin these gentle movements, it is an invitation, a cue for our nervous system to become more relaxed. And then as ready, bring your head back to neutral. And then turn a soft gaze, looking just past your shoulder. Pause. And then visualize. So imagination is powerful. Moving your head up and down slightly. And then as ready, moving your head back to center, turn a soft gaze, looking past your opposite shoulder. Pause. Visualize moving your chin up and down slightly. And so again, if you're wanting to use your hands to help guide the movements, might be that today you are visualizing the movement. If that feels better. So feel as though you are doing the movement. So as ready, bring your head back to neutral. And so we've moved our head, our neck, pardon me, through its range of motion. And now we're going to move down along our spine. And so, of course, we know our spine matters. And so resting your hands on your lap or wherever feels most comfortable for you, let's transition into a practice called cat and cow. So as ready, draw your hands in towards your hips. And then arch your back. And sliding your hands towards your knees, an invitation to round your back. Round your back as you do. Draw your belly in towards your spine. And so in your own time and rhythm, an invitation to keep this gentle movement flowing. So cat and cow. So be careful not to throw your head back. Keep your head in line with your spine. And so I'm going to turn my chair sideways. So this might give a better visual for some folks. You're not sure, maybe new to the practice. So as you're ready, we could practice this together if you'd like. So we round our back on the exhale, chin in. And then on inhale, draw your hands towards your hips, lift your heart, lift your throat. On exhale, round your back. As you round your back, draw your navel in towards your spine. And so move in a way that feels natural for you. So natural that your movements and your breath become one. And so I'm going to turn my chair back forward so I can see what's going on for those of you who are virtually present. Visually. So this is a gentle massage for our spine. And so as ready, bring your head back to neutral or your sitting position, if you will. Take a moment, notice how you feel. And then from here, I'd like to invite you to reach towards the floor as if you're reaching to pick something up and holding on to the underside of your chair. And so if you're a wheelchair user, it might be you're holding on to your wheel. Seated in a chair without arms, you'll be able to reach the underside of your chair. And so if it feels good, you might inhale to one side, exhale to the other side. If that breathing pattern works for you, lovely. If not, breathe in whatever way feels comfortable for you. And so maybe imagining that you're seated between two panes of glass. And so shoulder stacked over shoulder. And slowly come on back to neutral spine. Take a moment, connect with your breath. Notice how's your breath. Notice any subtle sensations. So trust that the sensations are there. It's not going to be a rocket ship across the sky. So can you name that sensation? Is it energy? Is it maybe fatigue? Where in your body are you feeling the sensation? So moving on, let's come into a gentle twist. So sliding your hands, you might notice, in towards along our thighs, feels natural. And so we are not going to our full range of motion. This is a gentle twist. Maybe see if you can create a little half smile, like a little Buddha smile. So when we smile, it releases saliva. So we all know what it's like to go to the dentist. Dry mouth. And then when you're ready, come on back to neutral spine. Take a moment. And so for those of you who are new to the practice, a gentle reminder to those of you who've been doing your practice, some of you long before I was ever practicing, a gentle reminder that, what would I like to remind you? Okay, so a reminder that if you ever feel dizziness, nausea, or pain in your practice, come out of the pose of the movement. Or you might explore backing off a little bit. Notice how that feels for you. If that feels better, great. If not, come out of the pose or the movement altogether. Take a moment, and then you might like to explore coming back into the pose or the movement a little slower, more gently. Alternatively, it might be that this is not the pose or the movement for you today. And so I'd like to invite you to think of the poses and the movements as a buffet. And so you choose whatever is the best fit for you. And so that share an invitation now to tap your fingers. Tap a little faster. And so you'd like to explore moving your pinky from your pinkies to your thumbs. This can be good for our brain health. And then how about RPM? So one of the sensations I hope you experience in your yoga practice today is a sense of rhythm. And so I'm sure you've noticed everyone has their own sense of rhythm. You might be moving a little faster or slower than me. And then as ready, turn your palms face up. And then rotate your palms down. Maybe notice which feels better for you. And then turn your palms face up and take your fingertips to touch your thumbs. And so your fingertips might touch your thumbs, they might not. So the touching isn't the important thing. The important thing is that we're moving in that direction. So that engages all the little muscles and joints in our hands. And so you'd stretch your palms, fingertips to your thumbs. Stretch your palms. So create space between your fingers, fingertips to your thumbs. And then when you're ready, rest your hands on your lap. An invitation to circle your wrist in one direction. So if you feel comfortable working with both wrists at the same time, go for it. However, I have an injury in my right wrist, healing, albeit still healing. So you can do one wrist at a time. So you'd circle in one direction, circle in the opposite direction, and then switch sides. And so you might notice that one wrist is tighter than the other. And so just as human beings, we tend to have one side that's tighter. And so now when you're ready, arms by your sides, spiral your palms open and rotate your palms down. And maybe explore reaching up a little higher. And so we're broad through the collarbones, extending beyond our elbows or wrists. Extend beyond your fingertips. And then just like you're moving your hands through honey, palms face down, release your arms down by your side or wherever feels most comfortable for you. And so let's explore this one more time. Arms by your side, open up your armpits. Spiral your palms open, so soft bend in your elbows, nothing rigid. Rotate your thumbs down towards the earth and up. Maybe exploring how does it feel to reach up a little higher. And then just like you're floating, moving your hands through golden honey. Float your arms down. Oof. And feel your work. We'll shake up. Okay, and shake your hands. Do a little bum dance, whatever your body's asking of you. So I'm just going to tie my hair back. It's distracting, and then one be flipping it around. So I inherited my mama's and my dad's. I think my mama's Irish hair. So take a minute, check in. Notice how you feel. All right, so it's not about the form, what the form in our yoga practice looks like. The diagnostic tool is how do I feel? And so no judgment. Yoga meets us exactly where we are. All right, so notice how's your breath? Notice any subtle sensations. And so when you're ready, gradually opening your eyes. So like I'm just going to reintroduce a blanket under my feet. It's winter time almost here now on the Sunshine Coast. And so the floor is cold. So I'm just going to place my feet on the blanket. And so everything we do today in this yoga practice will be done seated in the chair. And so it might be that you're seated on your couch, maybe on the side of your bed. So eventually maybe might do some standing for those of you who are ambulatory, however you have balance issues, but we'll see a day at a time, class at a time. So from here, I'd like to invite you to massage your hands. And so we have what's called the marma point in the middle of our hand. And so if it's okay for your fingers, massage the marma point. If you happen to have a yoga buddy, this is a practice that a friend can do kindly. Is massaging the middle of your palm. And so essentially what this does is it helps release some of the tension we hold in our hands sometimes. And then other side. And it might even feel good to massage your hand by squeezing the wrist. So lots of muscles and bones in our hands. And most of us use our hands more than our feet. Not that we neglect our feet, but. And then when you're ready, an invitation to shake it out again. And then from here, let's want to make sure. So this is going to be, I'll go till about 10:02, and then we'll leave enough time for conversation after the class, hopefully. And so arms by your sides, spiral your palms open. Take your fingertips to your shoulders or wherever you can reach comfortably. And then an invitation to roll your shoulders up, back, and down. And then if you like, reverse the direction. So forward. And then maybe exploring alternating from side to side. So whatever way feels good for you. And then as you're ready, float your arms down by your side. A little shake out. And then from here, actually, I'd like to invite you to reach one arm out to the side, spiral your palm open and then down. Bend your elbows, a soft bend in the elbow. Take your hand to your shoulder or wherever you can reach comfortably. And this time, I'd like you to imagine that you're drawing circles on the screen in front of you. So your elbow point is low or higher than mine, whatever feels good for you. So we're getting the synovial fluid, Mother Nature's WD-40 flowing into our joints. And so we'll move through all the major joints today. And then reverse. So more of a focus on neck and shoulders, however we will. Move through all the major joints. And palm face down. Okay, so notice does one shoulder feel a little different than the other. And so whatever we do on one side, we do on the other if possible. So reach your arm out to the side, open up your armpit, spiral your palm open, soft bend in your elbow, nothing rigid. Take your hand to your shoulder, wherever you can reach comfortably. And then imagine you're drawing circles on the screen in front of you, or the wall in front of you, if you will, with your elbow point. Remember your little Buddha smile. So smile whether you're happy or not. Smiles are contagious. I think we're at our most beautiful when we smile. And then reverse the direction. And release. So take a moment to feel your work. So from neck and shoulders, and so from here, I'd like us to go for a yoga swim. And so lots of lymph nodes in our armpit area. And so this is one way we can, years ago, I used to refer to the lymph as little Pac-Men or women, taking away the toxins from our body. And so swimming. So water is feminine, cooling energy, yin, if you will. So that's a type of yoga. And then you have a backstroke. So you can move as quickly or slowly as you'd like. So this feels about right for me today. And then how about, breaststroke, whoosh. And side stroke. And then lastly, butterfly. And then slowly come on back to stillness. Rest your hands on your lap or your thighs, wherever feels most comfortable for you. So I'm just going to shift the iPad a little bit so I'm less in the screen and more interested in seeing what's going on for you, of course. Of course, it's of course. And so notice how's your breath. Notice any subtle sensations. And so we are going to be moving from our hips forward and back in the chair and then doing circular movements. And so we're going to come into a practice called finding our balance. And so if you know balance is a challenge for you, you're seated in a chair, make sure you have whatever device you need so that you're comfortable, in other words, stable in your chair. And I'm just going to switch up the blanket that's under my feet for a yoga mat. This feels a little more stable for me. The blanket can easily slide away if I'm not careful. And so the one of the many uses, and when I'm in the chair, I like to just fold it in half. And then I'll place the front of the feet of the chair on the sticky mat so that it stays in place a little better. And so when you're ready, so finding our balance. And so the best definition of balance to date that I've heard, or one of my favorite definitions, I suppose, to frame it that way, is the equal distribution of presence throughout our entire body. So worth repeating, balance, the equal distribution of presence throughout our entire body. And so with that in mind, if possible, I'd like to invite you to bring your feet a little wider than outer hip bone distance. And so knees are tracking over our ankles. It's okay to have your toes turned out a little. It might be that you have something between your knees to help facilitate keeping your knees from rotating inwards. So when you're ready, sitting up nice and tall. Take your hands in towards your hips. So you might have open palms, maybe soft fists if you have hand stuff going on. If you are just joining the class, welcome to the class. Appreciate you.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Victor. Hi.
Hey, Victor.
What's up?
Yo.
I'm sorry to scaring you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It was a nice scare. It's like a Halloween scare. So
Yeah.
cool. So might be that you hold the underside of your chair for stability, right? So whatever works for you. And so when you're ready, breathing in, lengthen your spine so we can create space between our vertebrae. And then hinging from the hips, come forward with a flat back. Noticing that sometimes when we come into a forward fold, our chin wants to jut up. So I'd like you to notice how it feels to tuck your chin in slightly. And then as ready, rock back. And so in your own time and rhythm, an invitation to keep this gentle movement flowing. And so it can be interesting to close our eyes as we practice these gentle movements. There is something about this gentle movement that our nervous system likes. And so I'm thinking it has to do with the fact that we're mostly made of water, so 65% water. Could it be that because we were in the womb, this feels natural, comforting? And then as you're ready, come on back to neutral spine, take a moment. And then again, so your feet might be a little wider than outer hip bone distance if possible. You might have a bolster, keep your knees wide. Right. So depending, so I think I won't take the time to cue this. So if your knees are rotating inwards, it might be that you've taken too wide a stride. So you walk your toe heel back or bring your feet back. If they're kind of splayed out, that could be that you're able to take a wider stride. So here we go. Circle your heart forward. And then circle your heart back. So this movement can feel a little strange if you're not accustomed to it. And so when we move with our breath, magical things happen. And so this is about my comfort level today. So as you begin to feel your hips and lower back soften and release, see if you can go a little bit deeper. So our shoulders are moving towards our knees. And of course, we're not going to come all the way down. And then as ready, reverse the direction. So ball and socket, our hips are able to move in the opposite direction. And so as you begin to feel your lower back, your hips soften and release, see if you can go a little bit deeper. And then an invitation to bring a gentle awareness to the space in front of you. Bring a gentle awareness to the space beside you. Notice how that makes you feel. And bring your awareness to the space above you. And lastly, an invitation to bring your awareness to the space behind you. And then moving away from me to we, an invitation to trust that we are being supported. And then slowly make your way back to a neutral spine. Walk your feet back. So knees, feet are comfortably hip distance apart. So a little cue if you'd like for hip distance, might be 2 soft fists between your knees. Take a moment, check in.
One of that says nice hoodie. This is a $10,000 Philip Klein crystal hoodie. And to show you the full
Damn, this guy is free, bro.
haters.
Richard,
Yeah,
Right
Richard,
there.
what's wrong, Richard?
Little Miami twerk action for you guys. I know that's why you watch.
can you self on mute, please?
I should turn my bit rate up, huh? I'm gonna turn my bit rate up a little bit.
So apparently with
Here, everybody.
or not, I'm not sure anymore. I don't know what the people who do this see, what they get out of it. But anyway, I'm going to continue teaching. And if you're okay, I'd like to invite you that we've moved away from me to we. And this is a gentle.